Hey friends, welcome back to our study of Stop Trying, How to Receive, Not Achieve Your Real Identity. And hey, you made it. This is the final lesson. We're studying the last two chapters and the conclusion today. And we're going to bring a tie a bow around everything we've learned and bring this study to a conclusion, especially this part 3 on flourishing. So as I open my copy of this book, I like the whole subject matter of the book. Okay, the writing quality I could debate, but I love the theme and I love the reality of Jesus. But chapters 14 and 15 really seek to bring you to a practical place. If you sat down with me and said, "Okay, how do I grow this?" My first answer is, well, God's going to grow it in you in some ways you can't control. So just as you choose to follow Him, He's going to lead your path in a very precise way. It's individual to you. He's going to dismantle your fake, contrived, fragile identities, and He's going to more deeply root and ground you in durable gospel identity. That's just what He does. But then how do you participate? And chapter 14 is just simply called Fall Down. A gospel identity forms in worship. We're going to study the story of Saul, who became the Apostle Paul, and how really he just fell down on the ground and said, "Lord, what will you have me to do?" So the magnitude of who Jesus is, when I really feel the weight of that, the only proper answer is to fall down and to offer myself to Him in total followership and devotion, which is worship. Worship is a lifestyle of love to God. So I'm not performing for Him. He is doing a good work in me and through me that I have yielded to out of love. All of the Christian journey, all of the growth ahead for you ought to flow out of want to, not have to, get to, not ought to. It ought to all flow out of a heart that is just in love with Jesus, who has done so much for you in the first place. And then the 15th chapter is simply entitled Grow Forward. And the theme of this chapter is patient cultivation. What can we do in terms of discipline, in terms of habits that can tend and cultivate, curate our heart and spirit and soul after Jesus? Now, don't misunderstand, okay? Checking the boxes off on performance for God simply reverts you right back to a traditional identity. This is not performing for God. This is availing myself of the grace and the mercy of God in which He works in me. And He creates a will, a desire to do things that please Him and honor Him as expressions of love and gratitude for everything He's done for me. So this really does completely crush the performance-based mentality of Christianity. And it transforms it into a love-driven service, a love-driven lifestyle of worship, a lifestyle of love to God. And so it really talks to the whole journey of growing up in Jesus from this day forward. And then we wrap up with a story that I share about me and my daughter in the conclusion. So thank you for making this study a priority in your life. It means the world to me that you would read this book. And I want to leave with one final challenge. If this study in this book has encouraged you and has blessed you and has kind of opened the eyes of your heart to these spiritual truths, then I want you to think of somebody that you love, maybe more than one. Somebody you love needs this reality. They need to understand the gospel. They need to understand the identity that comes when we trust Jesus. And I strongly encourage you to pass the book along to them as a ministry of love to their spiritual growth. So, my best wishes to you as you study today and as you continue growing for the duration of your life in a gospel identity.